Hi everyone, happy Monday. I'm having a crazy Monday. Just literally come off the second of two podcasts that I've recorded today. So my brain is all a bit whirly, but it's all good. Nothing like getting those brain chemicals firing into action on a Monday morning. Monday afternoon as it is now, but I do hope that you've all had a wonderful weekend. I literally had the best day yesterday because my gorgeous friend Lamara came and actually just saved my life by doing my hair for me yesterday. I mean, talk about kindness and paying it forward. Lamara responded to my pained requests for help with my hair and dedicated her whole Sunday to coming and doing my hair. So thank you so much. You're a gorgeous lady. What have you all been up to? Oh my God, Zoe, you're here. I'd almost forgotten who you were, Zoe. Hi, Katie, how are you? Do you know some of my absolute favourites are here? Hi, Eden, how are you, gorgeous? How's your weekend been? I'm so excited to bring Donna with you today. Donna, I can see you're here. We'll just wait for a few more people to join, my lovely. And then we'll get going because I reckon you're going to have an awful lot of questions today. Oh, and Jane as well. Oh, God, I'm loving seeing who's here. I did have a good weekend, Jane. Working on Saturday, it was absolutely manic. And then, literally my lovely friend Amara came and did my hair for like all of yesterday, bless her. It was quite a feat to get it done. Donna is requested to join, so that's brilliant. Oh, we've got Janine as well. Wish I could join you, but back at work now. Don't you worry, gorgeous. You can always watch IGTV or on here later when I struggle to watch on a Monday or Tuesday when I have eyes watching me. Oh my God, that's brilliant. Had another clinic and a fellow supercharger was the photographer. Who was it, Katie? Who was it? Let us know. Now, Donna is going to be joining us shortly, and I think this might be her first live. Like, this woman is a professional, but I'm not sure she's done a live before. So we're going to have to be super kind and ask her loads of amazing questions. Eden, Harper did her first cross-country schooling. We haven't stopped, so we're having a bid. He's had a gorgeous weekend. And the sun was out, so doesn't that make it all feel better? Right, so we've got joining us, Annie. Here she is. Hello, lovely. How are you?
Hello, I'm really good. Apart from, I can still hear you talking on my thing. This is a bit confusing.
Have you got horrible feedback from me in your ear?
Yeah, it's literally about 5 minutes behind, like about 2 minutes behind. I'll hear myself.
Don't worry. Let me take my earphones out and see if that makes it any better, okay?
Okay. Oh, that seems better. Oh, no.
Oh.
I can hear myself. The feedback's really bad.
Try unplugging your headphones, gorgeous. And let's see if sometimes it works when we both have headphones in.
Oh. I can hear myself. The feedback's really bad.
Try unplugging your headphones, gorgeous. So let's see if sometimes it works when we both have headphones in.
Oh. I can hear myself. The feedback's really bad.
Try unplugging your headphones, gorgeous. So let's see if That was terrifying. Let me see if I can get you back on. Just super scary. Right, my earphones are so many. I don't think I've ever heard that many voices of myself. Right, let's see if it's better getting her back on.
Oh my God.
How's that?
I can't. Oh, that is a million times better. That was quite possibly one of the worst experiences of my life.
I hate it. This is just disconcerting. myself all the time.
Oh, that is so much better. I was like, okay, I can hear myself. I can also hear Vic, and I can hear Vic for a second time. And I don't know, and also I'm talking. Hi, everyone.
Oh, honey. Oh, that was brilliant. Look, don't these lives, and the only is fabulous, but we have got with feedback. That's why I was saying about the headphones, but we seem to be okay. Good.
Yeah, this is all good. And you know what? The great thing about this is, if there's something I don't want to answer now, I'm going to be like, "What's that? I'm getting feedback. What? I'm going to have to go and rejoin."
Do your best answer, and we'll be like, "Oh, we're losing her. We're losing her."
Exactly. This is brilliant.
Now, darling, I know exactly who you are, but let's just pretend that you could just tell us a little bit.
So, my name's Donna, for those who don't know me, and I also go by my business name, which is the Horse Feed Guru. I am based in Newmarket. The sun is shining today. I don't know what it is like, but it's lovely here. And yeah, I'm basically an independent equine nutritionist, although I'm in the world of nutrition for quite some time now. I first started work in 2004, so a long time ago. Well, it feels a long time ago. And I first started for a feed company as a care line on the phones, advising people with their one-horse owners, with their horses or two horses. That made zero sense. And I can't even blame that one on feedback. So that's how I started my career. And then I moved on to being an on-the-road nutritionist, being a competition nutritionist. So I dealt with eventers, dressage riders, show jumpers. And then I also did a stint as a racing nutritionist. That was really interesting and really insightful. And I used to go to Lambourne quite a lot, because I didn't actually live in Newmarket then. I actually lived in Milton Keynes. So I used to go to Lambourne a lot, and yeah, I've done all sorts of things over the years, but ultimately now I'm completely independent. So obviously the great thing about that is, you know, I have lots of different feeds and supplements to my disposal, and really, I guess the main thing is that I can really give time to like one individual horse, rather than be having to, you know, maybe see 10 or 12 in an hour or whatever. So that's what I do. That's a little bit of a background to me, really.
And why did you decide? Was there a pivotal point, or was it just something that's always been of interest?
When did I decide I wanted to be a nutritionist? Was that?
Yeah.
So I apologise for anyone who might have heard this story before, because there is a little bit of a story behind this. But basically, when I was 14, I was reading an issue of Pony magazine, and I even remember where I was. I was in Bournemouth, because my nan and granddad used to live down there, and I used to go and spend the summer holidays with them. And in this episode of Pony magazine, there was like a feeding questionnaire. And if you could basically fill it in, it was a tick box exercise, and then you sent it back, and depending on what score you got given a rosette. If you got 80%, I think it was, you got a red rosette. If you got, 70%, you got a blue one, and it was like that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get the red rosette. Like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. So I had quite a lot of my books with me, actually, because I was a bit of a bookworm. I still am in many ways, but I went through it all. I filled it in, I sent it off, and it got my curiosity. It must have been about 2 months later, so it wasn't like a quick turnaround. I'd almost forgotten about it. I got this red rosette through the post, and this certificate that I've still got to this day was signed by the Spillers nutritionist at the time. And I put it on my wardrobe, and I put my red Spillers rosette on the wardrobe. I think I've even got a photo of that somewhere, but my certificate's actually in my office. And I said in that moment, I'm going to be a nutritionist when I'm older, and I'm going to work for that company. And something like 6 years later, I did. So that's the background.
So you were 14.
Yeah, so I was 14, and I just went, okay. So I was in, yeah, it was the summer holidays for my 14th, because my birthday's in July. In fact, it was my birthday yesterday, so I'm sadly another year older. But I was going into year 10, so I'd already sort of made my GCSE choices, but I was like, right, I worked everything backwards, the GCSEs, like the A levels, the degree I wanted to do, and what I was going to do. And you know, the most fascinating thing was when I was sort of doing my finals at Writtle, because I went to Writtle for anyone who's interested. On the run up to that, I had a job interview for Spillers. And I went to this interview, and I'd actually had another one that I'd already been rejected for. I'd applied in like the January time. And to be fair, it was a job that I didn't have enough experience for, but I wasn't sort of put off by that. I then thought, right, I'm going to reapply for this other job. But it was right sort of at the start of my finals, when I should have been revising, I applied for this position. And I remember going to the interview and coming back and thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, you know, not only do I think I've not got this job, but I'm now probably going to go and fail my finals because I haven't been revising them. Anyway, on the very next morning, after the last day of doing my final exam, I got a phone call from Spillers saying, oh, just to let you know, you've got the job. And when can you start? So I literally went from boom, my degree, to boom, working for them. So, yeah, it was sort of written in the stars. And, you know, I've since found some other very freaky stuff, which makes me think, oh, it was maybe written in the stars. So I found an English book from when I was in year 9. And this is the God's honest truth. I'm happy to send a photo on this. And in this book, I was writing this story about horses, because I was always, you know what it's like. Made everything about horses. And in this book, in this story, I was writing about this mare and foal, and how the mare was not very well, and they were trying to feed her up. And I was talking about all the nutrition. And then I even put in there, and we had to balance off her vitamins and minerals. So we used Equivite Original. And again, that's just insane, because that's the company I went on to work for. It was like you know, God knows what I'd been reading or doing, but that's even before I had sort of declared in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. And when I found this English book, I was literally shaking, because I was like, this can't even be real. Like, yeah.
I'm going to the universe delivery.
Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty special.
Spillers for?
What sort of breaking up a little bit between the questions? Did you say how long did I work at Spillers for?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was about, I want to say about 7 years, something like that. Yeah, they were an awesome company to work for, and I've got a lot to thank them for. So big lovage to Spillers.
So they fulfilled the 40-year-old dream for working for a company.
Yeah, literally.
So did you go on and become self-employed working from Spillers, or did you go on to some other company as well?
So after working for Spillers, so Spillers is actually owned by Mars, for those who may or may not know that, as in Mars, literally the chocolate bar Mars, who again are another incredible company to work for. And I actually moved across from the Mars Horse Care, as it were, into Mars Chocolate. So I did actually work on the chocolate side, because I really wanted to work on my business skills and acumen. So I did that for a few years as well. And that taught me lots of different things, completely different. But ultimately, I had my children, and I missed the horse side of things, and it's what I love. And, you know, when you listen back to the story of what made me want to do it in the first place, I thought to myself, right, I'm going to go back to my roots, and I'm going to be independent, and sort of that's how it all came to pass.
So nowadays, you are your own boss. you're completely self-employed, not tied into anybody like Spillers. So do you prefer that aspect of working and being sort of more work with new people?
It has its pros and it has its cons, and that's the honest truth, because people quite often message me like, oh, how do you get to be independent? Or because I think it's got this very romantic image, which I just want to tell everyone right now, it's not as romantic as it looks, and it's actually highly stressful. And you know what, it's in many ways it's a lot easier to just earn a salary and be paid a salary, and I'll tell you that now. And some months it could be that I would have earned more actually having a salary and worked less hours through doing that. So, you know, even now, I sometimes get headhunted for things, and the temptation is really high. Like it's well up there. But ultimately, you know, when push comes to shove, I do love what I do, and I do love the freedom of being my own boss. I love that, you know, perhaps I can just add a little bit of value in my own unique way that I might not be able to do in a company, or I might be able to do, you know, but just for me, having the freedom to be able to recommend any feed or recommend any supplement, but also take my time. You know, if I want to work on a horse for an hour and a half, I have no one over my head saying, oh, Donnie, you can't do that. Now, please don't take that as saying, oh, that's what, you know, a company would have told her. No, not at all. But it's more, I'm my own boss. I can take on what I want. I can spend as long as I want doing that. I can pull my hair out over that, and it's my decision. And also, I do have kids. And to be quite honest, the job I did before, I'm one of those people where I have to do something to a really high standard. And as I was a competition nutritionist, I used to travel the country. Yeah. And I used to go to Gloucestershire a lot, because there's a hell of a lot, as you know, of competition riders in Gloucestershire. A lot of the eventing set, a lot of the dressage set. And I was living my life out of hotels. And, you know, I made that active choice that I want to be there for my children, but there are still so many horses out there that I can impact, and so many owners that I can help, but I've got to do it in my own unique way. And sometimes, like I say, it's complicated. It's like, you know, it's very difficult to have a day off. And even when I am having a day off, I will get messages morning, noon and night from people, and it's intensely difficult to switch off. So those are the real downsides. And of course, truly, there's no true security. If you imagine how many clients I have to have, I've said this before to people, like, it's not like a hairdresser where you're going back. I saw you had your hair done. I had my hair done too at the weekend. But it's not like a hairdresser or a physio, for example, where you see them maybe every 6 weeks, and you're on that client, you know, you're on that client base. I have to have hundreds upon hundreds of clients, because unfortunately I probably do too good a job. And so they're then sorted for quite a long period of time. And yeah, they might come back to me and we might need to tweak things. But ultimately, they're not going to come back to me probably every 6 weeks ongoing, are they? So the security of things, you can't plan in quite the same way. Well, you can plan, you can definitely plan, but it's more complicated.
So what does a typical day look like for you?
Do you know, things have obviously changed massively since the whole coronavirus, dare I say it, incident. And I hate this whole word of the new normal as well, and all of that side of things. But in the past, I'm going to say in the past and sort of what's happening now. So in the past, I used to take my kids to school, or my husband would take the kids to school, depending on how early I was setting off, if I was going out to see people or see horses. And I typically would try and do that in the mornings, and then come back in the afternoons. I would spend some time with the children, but I would also be doing more stuff, like more admin. And in the evenings, I virtually always worked through, because a lot of people are working during the day and they want help with their horses. And so by night I'm taking phone calls and stuff, or I'm writing up what I have done, because I do follow up reports for people. Since this has all happened, more than ever before, I have gone remote. So remote has always been a big part of my work, just as I said about the evenings. But now it's become morning, noon and night I'm working remote. And I guess the real positive about that is it enables me to get to more people. It enables me to, I could be speaking to someone on the phone in Norfolk, and then 2 hours later I'm speaking to someone in Gloucestershire. And, whereas driving wise, you just can't achieve that. So I'm making the most of a lot of dead time. But, there's no such thing as a typical day. And at the moment, it's very complicated because I've got my children here. So it's like at the moment, I've said to them, right, for fear of your lives, you get upstairs and you do not make a noise whilst I'm on this video call. You don't come down. Oh, bless their little hearts.
I just have the same. My kids are in the shop here with me today because my husband's had to go away for work. And I've literally just flung open the office door and gone, are you all right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, good, I'm going on another line. Slam.
Exactly. I mean, quite often will say, Mummy, you got another consultation? What time is it? Like, bless his little heart. But just, I tell you something, having 2 primary school kids off has been really hard. But yeah, we're getting there. We're making progress, guys.
Honestly, you deserve another roast from Spinners that put you through the summer of lockdown 2020. Let's assume that I have a horse and I'm a little bit worried about what to feed the said horse. A little bit worried about perhaps the horse having like weight loss or something like that. Would that be the sort of thing why people contact you, Donna?
Yeah, it's really interesting because so many people contact me because something's not quite right.
Yeah.
Which is interesting itself, and that does make sense for the reason as to why people would contact me, doesn't it? Whether that be weight, whether it be a clinical thing, whether it be there being a nutter under the saddle, whatever it is. But what I find so curious is that we spend so much money on our horses. We buy them the latest head collar and beautiful matchy set, and I just want to throw it out there, I'm into the matchy sets, so that is no dig. Spend all this money and yet we wait until there's a problem when it comes to the feed to question or check what we're doing. And actually some of those problems can become very expensive to fix because it may land up being a clinical thing where and people would ask from a point of genuine just wanting to know if what they're doing is right or if there's something that can be tweaked. And you know what, if it can't be tweaked and it is already great, I'm actually the first to say that. But yeah, that primarily it will be because something's not quite right.
Yeah,
That's what I'll get.
Don't just think, oh, I know, I've got this horse and I need some advice. I do wait till I think there's a problem. James comes straight in with a question, say, do many owners contact you for advice on weight management, needing to lose weight, I mean, as well? Is that the advice about whilst being independent?
I kind of missed half of that. I'm wondering if there's a way I can see the comments because I was missing sort of every other word you said. Here we go. Sorry for repeating this, guys. Too many owners contact you for advice on weight management, needing to lose weight, I mean. Oh no, now I've touched this, I'm getting feedback. Hang on. As well, is that easier to advise about whilst being independent? I'm just because I can hear myself put it down. Get advice since I touched the screen. started doing that. Is it easier to advise or not? I don't know. It was easy for me to advise when I was commercial, and it's easy for me to advise now. I guess the difference is now I have access to more feeds that I can recommend. But going back to that weight issue, is 9 times out of 10 when I check, they're not necessarily on the right forage amount. So whether I was commercial or whether I was independent, it could well be that it's actually the forage. So the importance of looking, whoever you use, whether it be a commercial nutritionist or whether it be an independent nutritionist, you have to look at the diet as a whole and not just go jumping in at the deep end looking at the hard feed, which I quite often see on lots of, Facebook forums and things. You've got to get the basics right first.
If you're getting are you still getting feedback, Gorgeous? I've just put my headphones back in and it's gone a bit better again.
Oh, maybe I'll try putting the headphones in. I'm getting slight feedback, but it's not quite as crazy as when we first started.
And then I also just turned off my mobile phone, just in case my mobile phone was interfering with my iPad. Stranger things happened.
It was literally when I touched the screen to read the question. Oh no, that's worse. I've got to take that out. It was literally when I touched the screen to read the question. For you, it's gone really mad for me. Oh no, that's worse. I've got to take that out. It was literally when I touched the screen to read the question. For you, it's gone really mad for me. Oh no, that's worse. I've got to take that out. It was literally when I touched the screen to read the question. For you, it's gone really mad for me. Oh no, that's worse. I've got to take that out. It was literally when I touched the screen to read the question. For you, it's gone really mad for me.
It has gone bonkers. It's just constantly replaying, isn't it? What poor Donna is saying. Oh, Facebook is just not being our friend, is it? It's so sad. We'll get you back on. I know that Bria has suggested, Donna, I've just turned my phone off. I think sometimes if you've got anything else on that also might have Facebook or something like that on, it might be better. Or if you've got a phone or something, Donna, that we can get you back on, rather than perhaps whatever else you were trying on. We'll give you a couple of minutes and then we'll go again, because I've got so many questions to ask you, Gorgeous. It's such a shame. We can always try and do old whatever it was, StreamYard that I was doing the other day. But my problem was
I was just on the phone, and I have nothing else on, so I don't know what that was about.
No, what? Don't worry. We'll try again.
Yeah, and the thing that freaked me out the most was as I was answering a question, and the fact that I'd actually joked that if I answer a question and I don't like it, and I just couldn't hear a thing. Sorry. I don't even know how much sense I made.
So we were just sort of saying about, is it easier to advise now that you are being independent? I mean, do you get inundated with products and do companies want you to work with them and things like that? Is that a harder thing for you now you're independent?
I do get requests, but it's not hard for me. I sound quite brutal. I don't work with any feed company. Oh, there's a fly joined us. I don't work with feed companies anymore. So you can completely know that I have got no agenda. So when I recommend a supplement or whatever, it is literally based on the science or what I believe to be right for the horse in front of me. And to be fair, I don't get too many requests from companies. I normally get requests from will I do some work for them, i.e. will I get involved with the research of a specific product. But if I'm being brutally honest, that's not where my passion lies. So I wouldn't take that work on anyway. I love helping individual horses, and really for me, helping individual owners like capture a bit of truth or knowledge, if you like. That's what excites me. And so you've always got different types of nutritionists, and they all do amazing jobs in different ways. And we've all got to have understanding as to all the different areas. But for me, feed development doesn't float my boat. It's not what I would want to do, and it's not something I'm going to allow myself to be paid for, because I've got to do something that I enjoy and that I'm passionate about as a person. That's what ticks my ticks.
Fulfilled morally as well as financially, isn't it? When you do it for yourself and make you happy with what you do. Ria, our lovely friend Ria, Donna is a legend. I hope you can hear this. The fact she's independent is a game changer. Because when the cob is being spirited, I have other options. Or when the feed cob is at the stop, I know Donna will know what to do instead. And this is what you've become, Donna. You've become somebody that does hold our hands and help us with our horses. We don't need 3 inventors, do we, necessarily, to have you?
No, God, absolutely not. So, yes, I've worked with Olympic level horses, as you've probably seen in essence from my CV. Yeah. But the majority of the people that I work with now are you amazing 1 or 2 horse owners who just love your horses and want to do right by them. And that to me is really inspiring. And that's what I was put on this planet to do. That is my meaning in life. That is my purpose. And that's what I just love doing. So that's what I'm going to keep doing, really.
And is there anybody that inspires you with your career?
Absolutely. So along the way, there's been loads of people that have inspired me, different nutritionists out there. At the moment, at this point in time, and I'm going to share this because it's actually not horsey at all, but I think you'll find this, it scares me that people probably won't know who he is when he's actually such a legend and actually a very, very famous scientist. And his name is Neil deGrasse Tyson. So has anyone heard of Neil deGrasse Tyson? I'm just curious. Put your hands up if you have. I want to know. But he's basically an astrophysicist based in America. Okay. And if you haven't heard of him, you need to. Like, this guy is super, super inspiring. So he's actually the director of the Hayden Planetarium in New York. And he is literally, I mean, he's even quoted as being one of the most famous astrophysicists in America today. But when you think of astrophysics, I bet in your mind now you're getting this horrible foggy haze descending upon you, like, oh man, I want to play with ponies. This doesn't sound cool to me or fun in any way, shape or form. And it actually sounds quite terrifying. And that really upsets me because science is so cool. It is so much fun. But I think when you see people that are passionate about science and want to understand science better, you think of maybe someone in a lab coat or someone who's very authoritarian, someone who's maybe quite scary. And I think we've got to start breaking these barriers down and going like, you know what, science is cool. Like, I saw this book that I really want to order for my daughter. And it's I saw it on Amazon, and it's called I Don't Want to Be a Princess When I Grow Up. I Want to Be an Astrophysicist. Yes, people. Like, I love that. Sorry, I'm getting really excited, but I knew some of the questions. I knew some of the questions Vic was going to ask, and I just want to read you this bit from Neil deGrasse Tyson, because I've got it here, and I want you to like really take in the words because it's so exciting. And so he was asked the question, what is the impact you want to have on the world? And it's going to take me a couple of minutes. But just remember that this guy is super clever, right? And when he speaks in a witty, like you're so engaged listening to him. And he's just this really friendly, awesome guy. But he was asked the question, what's the impact you want to have on the world? And he said, my impact would be people learn from me in a way that they are empowered by what I taught them. So that when they think of what they learned from me, they no longer think of me. They think of their own base of understanding of how this world works, and so that I become irrelevant. Because if people say, this is true because Tyson said so, then I failed. That is not how you teach someone. That's teaching by authority. I want to teach you how to think about the world, and then you say, I have a new way to understand the world, and you just run off. You don't even look back because a new level of hunger has descended upon you, and methods and tools to feed that hunger are now accessible to you. So my impact would be that others are impacted and they don't even remember that I had something to do with it. On my tombstone, I want the epitaph, be ashamed to die until you have scored some victory for humanity. And here's the last bit on this. And a victory for humanity is not a victory for yourself. It's not statues. It's not your name. It's just humanity is better off. Any of us, I think, should want the world to be a little better off for you having lived in it. That doesn't mean people praising you. It doesn't even mean that. It's about what you have to give with no expectation of return. And I just love that. I love everything about that. I love everything that it stands for. And so, you know, when I translate that into my career and what's important to me, I want to empower people. I want to help them know how to feed their horses so that when I'm gone, they have that themselves, that they can, and you know, maybe even forget it was ever me that said that. So yeah, this guy, he if you want to find him, just Google Neil deGrasse Tyson. You'll find him loads on YouTube. He's got a channel called Sky Talks. It's incredible because he breaks it down into simple ways to understand the universe, like the cosmos, and like that stuff's mega cool.
Well,
you know,
up a link to his. What's the best way? His website? Does he have Facebook? Does he? Where do you?
He does have Facebook. I like to listen to the talks on YouTube. So he's got a channel called Star Talks.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. But he is on Facebook and he is on Twitter as well, although I'm not on Twitter because I just don't have time for it. I struggle with Facebook and Instagram as it is. I don't comment enough.
I was not expecting that.
Oh, I just love the guy. Like, you know, I love science. I love, you know what? I put this on my main Facebook, not my business Facebook, but the other night, me and my husband, we just went outside and we were just staring at the sky. It was about 11:30 at night. There was not a single cloud in the sky and we were just looking at the stars. And there's apps these days whereby if you point your phone up at the stars, it will tell you what star it is, how many light years away it is, all of these things. And, you know, I looked at these two fairly big dots in the sky, actually, and there was Jupiter and Saturn just staring straight back at me. Like, it's incredible. I probably sound like... Hello.
I love this. I absolutely love this. I only wish that at school my teachers had been passionate. I mean, you surely can't have picked up this love of science from school, can you?
Well, here's the thing. Kids are not the problem. Adults are the problem.
Wow.
If you look at kids, they are born scientists. A scientist is just a kid who's never grown up. That's all they are. Apart from the fact that some of them do like to give off this very authoritarian style, and that's okay, that's okay, but that's not who I am as a person. But if you look at a kid, what would they look here? I've got a glass of water. This is Isla's glass of water, yeah? And I put it on the side, and along comes a toddler into the room. And what's the first thing they do? They're going to walk over to me, and then their hands are going to start flailing, and they're going to like tip the water over. And what do? We're like, oh no! Don't touch the water! Don't touch the water! You're going to tip the water over. And that was just waiting. And actually, this is a bit of a Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, to be honest. This is something that he's very much taught me. That was an experiment waiting to happen. And what was the kid going to do? They were going to knock it over. They were going to see like how fluids move. They were going to see, oh, I got wet. So science is about making mistakes as well. It's not just about getting things right all the time. But in school, the way that we tend to treat school is that you've kind of got this person and you're filling them up with knowledge, and you're pouring the knowledge in, pouring the knowledge in, pouring the knowledge in. But where's like the creativity? Where is the drive? Where are we teaching the drive? Where are we teaching people to think for themselves, people to really know how to analyze information, and so there is a big. I think that's why, to many, science can be very scary. It can feel like a scary place because we don't know what is true and what isn't true. But actually, that's where the next frontier of things that we learn about life comes from, through not knowing, through having a hypothesis, through testing things. And yeah, it's a lot more fun than it sounds or can be.
I honestly, I sit and listen to you talk all day, and when someone rings up and wants to talk about your horse, are you scientific in your responses to the customer?
Yeah, but I think you have to take that person, you have to go to that person. When I say go, I don't mean physically go, but you have to go to their level of understanding, and you have to, as an educator, meet that person there and bring them with you so that they understand in their own way, in their own terms. And so you can't have a fixed approach as to how you tell someone or how you guide someone, because I want to teach people the principles behind things, but I also don't want to alienate them. So if that person learns through quite a jokey way, or perhaps that would turn some people off. I'm almost a chameleon, if you like. When I'm on the phone, I can gauge very quickly how people like to be spoken to and how they need to learn. That's probably one of my talents. And then bring them on that journey with you, and hopefully by the end of that call, well, I always say to people, if they can, like, try and tell me back what they've got from this, and then I can really ascertain, have they understood what I've said, or are they just doing as they're told? And to be fair, some people do just want to do as they're told, and that's okay too, because they're my client. But I hope to be able to take them on a journey where they understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. And that's quite often done with a lot of wit and humour, just because that's who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it works. Everyone's in love with you, darling. So, you don't need to fix it. And is there a rule of thumb? Is there a general bit of advice you'd give to every horse owner? What is that you do? Is there something you see time and time again that you have to deal with?
The first thing is just really quite simple, and it is to get the forage right.
Yeah.
Because we spend so much time like sorting the hard feed out, yes.
Yeah.
But honestly, there's so many times and instances where it's the forage, you're not feeding enough of it, or you're feeding too much of it, or the horse has gone too long without it. You know, so many of these scenarios that cause such big problems, and we're just sitting back going, oh, which hard feed to choose next? Well, obviously I'm not, because I'm a nutritionist and I'd like to think that I know a little bit about what I'm saying. But get the basics right first. And also, for the love of God, don't just take it as gospel what someone types in a Facebook forum, please.
Oh,
Please.
sister! Amen!
Amen. I just don't want to hear that. Well, yes, feel free to quote it back to me when you're on the phone because someone has scared you enough. But when you leave that call, block and delete that group. Don't listen. I mean, okay, come on, let's be fair. Some of these groups can be helpful to a level. They can be. I mean, yeah. But when you are taking an advice of someone who you just don't know from Adam, I mean, you've probably never even seen their horse. You don't know if the horse is obese, got 3 legs, 1 eye, like. And actually, my horse has got 1 eye, so I can say that. And actually, she had a nasty hock injury too, so she's kind of got 3 legs, to be fair. But she's not obese. She's not obese, okay? But she could be because she's a very good doer. She's a halflinger. She holds her weight pretty damn well. But here's the thing. If you take advice from complete strangers, I bet you they won't ask you the questions that you need to be asked. I won't advise a horse owner without asking a number of questions. And even when I've asked those questions, I'm sort of thinking in the back of my mind, has that person interpreted that question properly? Have I actually got the answer I'm looking for? So to give you an example of that, I said to someone earlier today, she said, I still need a little bit of help building him up. And I said, I just want to clarify, do you mean he needs more weight, or do you mean he needs more muscle through that comment of building up? And she clarified for me. But most people wouldn't have the experience if you're not trained in this matter. If you're in a Facebook forum and before you know it, you've been recommended the wrong thing and you're wasting a lot of money on things. That's what most people do. They waste a heck of a lot of money because they haven't just wanted with a small amount of, like, to part with a small amount of money to check that something's right in the first place. So there you go.
I see time and time again is coming to the shop and they want to try X product because it's worked so well for their friends, of course. And there is no more thought process gone into that. Now, I'm not saying for 1 minute that they're doing anything wrong, but that would be like saying that my child has to eat the same food as your child does, Donna, without even asking you a question about your child. You know, it's very difficult for me to, because obviously I'm here as a tax shop, and if somebody wants to buy a product, I'm going to sell it to them. But I wish.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not putting you out of business.
No. But I'm forever asking the question, have you actually taken advice from a nutritionalist about this, or a vet, or something? Because we're all trying to self-diagnose at the moment, I feel, and it's a scary place to be.
Yeah, and I think the biggest problem, like I said, you know how I was saying before that at school, quite often we're filled with facts and people become very good at, in a very parrot-like way, restating the facts back. But, you know, if part of your education is missing or lacking, which wouldn't necessarily even be your fault, you wouldn't know how to analyse the information that's in. So, okay, this is good, this is sound, solid information, and this is the evidence behind it. You know, and so when you Google something and you read it on the internet and you see it as being gospel, when actually it could have been written but it could just be a belief of someone. You know, it could be anything, and that doesn't mean it's wrong, but it doesn't make it right either.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
We're both saying the same thing there, aren't we? But really, ultimately, knowledge, genuine knowledge. Now, can you believe it? We've got 5 minutes left. Can you believe where the time has gone? if anybody has got any questions for Donna for today, ask away, answer now. Otherwise, we're definitely going to have Donna back soon to actually answer some more questions. But today, you just needed to see the magicalness that is Donna. Who she is. Oh, I love it.
The craziness.
Yeah. Diane is our doctor friend, Dr. Diane Fisher. She's put, it's so true. Happens all the time with patients. Arms so and so said, Google said. Oh.
It is true. I would say I start most of my telephone calls with some level of that in there.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can sort of educate a person and take them the whole way through, and they really understand the concepts behind it and all the rest of it, and they know my background and everything that I've done, and then they'll still say to me at the end, yeah, the only thing is though, such and such on Facebook did say, and I'm literally like, wait a minute, I've just spent 45 minutes explaining this. But, you know, human nature is you just hold on to that little bit of fear and you just need it clarified. No, it's fine, it's safe or not safe or whatever.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Well, we haven't questions come in just yet, but I have one I wanted to ask you, which is, if somebody's interested in doing your line of work, what would be your advice?
My advice would be just to get curious first of all, and I mean, these days the reality is you're going to need a degree to work in this field. You are going to need that as an absolute minimum, really. I would have gone on to do more from that, other than the fact that I had 2 children. So that's that's made that process. But I went away and I worked for a feed company, and I worked for a well-respected feed company who are scientific based, if you like, and evidence based. And really, I would say you've got to go and work for a feed company to be able to give you that access to see hundreds of different horses and really learn your trade sort of day in, day out, day in. Because, I mean, if I just set myself up as an independent without having done that, I wouldn't have had the experience, but also a lot of people telling me, you know, I made loads of mistakes when I was younger and had to keep going and checking with other nutritionists. Oh, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? I'm not ashamed to say that, because that is how you learn. Obviously, that wouldn't have been client facing until I was in a position where I was safe to give advice. But yeah, I would say, you know, aim to do your degree, and then aim to go and work for one of these feed companies. And you know, even earlier to that, you can ask maybe to do work experience to see if it's something that you do really enjoy doing or you don't enjoy doing. And also, like, actually have a passion reading about the subject matter, because if you're not really interested, if it doesn't really excite you, then, you know, it's not your bag, to be honest.
Yeah, do you think you've remained passionate about it over the time you've been doing it all?
Have I retained what being passionate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I do genuinely love what I do, and I think when you see a great result in a client, even if it's something really simple that's resonated with them, and you know that's going on to affect, and it could be the tiniest little pony, that inside like gives my heart all the hugs, because like that is my little bit for humanity. That is my little bit that's how I can give, if you like. So yes, I am passionate about it, but I don't feel that I have to do it in a really aggressive, authoritative style, because that's just not who I am. And yeah, hopefully I can inspire a few more people to find interest in it and not be scared of the subject matter as well.
Oh, I love it. Well, anybody can ask any more questions on these comments, because we can always see them on. But where can people follow you, Donna? Where are you? Facebook and Instagram and the like.
So on Insta, I'm at the Horse Feed Guru. On Facebook, I'm at why was I going to say www.facebook.com? I'm the Horse Feed Guru. You see, I have to keep it simple. The Horse Feed Guru on Facebook, and my website is www.thehorsefeedguru.com. So it's all very simple because I like simple.
I love it, and I love you, and we all love you. Diane's put, what a gorgeous lady. Love her. Well, I knew you all would. Well, this has been an amazing introduction to you. I absolutely love to have you back on to actually answer some questions that you encounter. So, we will organise that soon. We will do a stream app so that we don't have our feedback issue going on. Because I know it's disconcerting. It's been amazing today.
I did feel my heart rate go up in intensity at that point.
Amazing, honestly, it's been amazing. But if anybody needs to contact you, they know where you are now, and we'll get it reorganised again soon. Okay? So thank you so much, and have a lovely rest of your day.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, guys. And yeah, I will no doubt speak to you soon.
Oh, you will. Lots of love. Thanks, Donna. Bye.